Welcome to the Cruise TV Canada, the show where we focus on the stories and people behind some of the most amazing rides on the road. I'm your host, Stephanie Lastoria, and I'll be with you as we drive 3 incredible modern-day tuner cars. These vehicles are highly modified inside and out and reflect the true individualism that comes from the car community. On this episode, we're going to be looking at a 2016 Mercedes AMG GTS, a 2016 Audi SQ5, and a 2012 Honda Civic Si. Stay tuned, guys.
So this is my 2012 Honda Civic Si, first wide body kit in Canada that was done about, let's say, 4.5 years ago. I've had this one currently for almost 9 years. Been working on it and just tinkering with it here and there, and final product, I'm very happy with it actually. Originally, it wasn't my first pick. I did not want to buy a Honda, but it ended up coming in my hands. Price was right, everything worked, so took it on. I said I would never touch it. That kind of went sour. There's a lot of heavy modifications to it, wheels alone, and then there's a body kit and a couple other things, but we can talk about it as we go along and see what we can do. My dream car, honestly, is a Segura, which I'll probably never own because it's too pricey, but I love seeing the car in person all the time. Car's been with me for over 9 years. I've done a lot of mods to it. It's been a fun time. I've enjoyed it. I don't get bored of the car. It's been a journey with it, sweat and tears like no tomorrow. Biggest mod that it has is the big body kit that we put on about 3 years ago. I've changed the exhaust system twice, and I stuck with a skunk to exhaust system. It's been great. It's loud, but it does have everything it needs to do. I've also taken the time to finesse everything into it, so tuned it, and also have done a lot of other mods. The interior I've done minimal, but it's just because the way I want the car aesthetically to look has been great. I have never ever once thought of selling it, although sometimes I do want to because it just drives me insane with all the headaches and problems that comes with the car, but at the same time, it's part of the car community. Car culture has been great. Being a part of Exclusive has been a very, very, very overwhelming and at the same time grateful to be part of that family. We don't think of us as just a car club. We're a family. We take care of each other outside of the scene. We have a lot of get-togethers. We talk with each other all the time. We help each other out as a group and as a team. And then when it's car season, we all start getting together, see what shows we're able to do, who's gonna go where we're gonna go as a team, how we're gonna be, and if anyone needs help getting their cars ready beforehand, we kind of do that as well. For me, the biggest thing with this was I got into it when I saw the Fast and Furious, no lie there. Took it in as what it was. Bought my first car with a 92 Prelude. Did a couple things here and there to it, nothing crazy. And then from there, what I actually ended up doing was I bought my first Honda Civic Si out of the showroom. It was an 8-gen, was just revealed. I bought it, picked it up, did a couple things to it here and there, didn't think anything of it, and then started getting into it. Within a couple years, I had it not fully modified, but very close. And unfortunately, I got into an accident over the winter because I was driving it every single day, summer and winter. That was my car, no matter what. After I wrote it off, I kind of just said, you know what, just gotta take back, see what I do. So went car hunting, Insurance paid me out. Picked up this beauty, and at the time she was white, no mods to it. And I said I would never, ever mod it. And that was a lie. Within the first couple months, I had exhaust on it, picked a set of wheels up, and then from there, I ended up just going back out, seeing what there was. This car transitioned from 3 different colors. It went from a pearl white to a metallic green wrap. And then when I did peel the wrap, some of the paint came off, so I said, okay, you know what? Time to send it out for paint. Contracted a guy out. Unfortunately, that did not go any way good. The job was not done right. It is what it is. The people that know the story know the story. The people that don't, I don't really want to get into it because it kind of just aggravates me. But at the same time, long story short, this car was down for 3.5 years to get repaired. And what we had to do was chemically strip it, re-straighten the body, and then add the color, which now is a candy apple red with metallic flake in it, and the carbon fiber as well has flake in it. I also put some of my heritage behind the build as well, especially underneath the hood. You'll find that if you've ever seen the car, it's got actual hand engraving pieces that I have personally got done from LA, which is where the lowrider scene is and all this and that. It was great, and every time I open the hood, I see the airbrush that my cousin did. He did an amazing job, and it just brings back that true feel of I'm doing this for myself. I'm not doing it for anybody else. And I kind of just go that way to just make sure that it's enjoyable and that I enjoy the vehicle for myself. I don't do it for anyone else. I do it for me and me alone. And that's the best feeling ever, is that at the end of the day, this car sits in my garage and I look at it every day and I go, damn, I build a car that I'm happy about. I build a winning car that has trophies everywhere, even to the point where we took it down to Ohio. I drove it from London to Ohio, never trailered it, and it was the best experience ever, going with a couple of my buddies, Fantastic, Connor, Tyler, Tamer. We went down there and had a blast, and we're looking to redo it again this year. So hopefully we'll see some of you guys out in Ohio, Gatlinburg. Maybe go down to Evo Tuner in Chicago. We'll see how the year goes, and this is it for us this year. We're done. We're going to Import Expo. We're gonna show it off one last time before it goes away for the winter season, and that is it.
It's a 2016 Audi SQ5. I got this car brand new in 2016. It was picked for a family car at first, but then I took it over. It has air ride and some engine mods, and we can talk about the rest during the cruise. Dream car would be gated V10 R8. So I remember when I was a little kid and I would always get these Hot Wheels for Christmas. That's what started the whole car thing. And then from Hot Wheels, they went into little models that I always built. 1/124 scale, the glue, the paint, building them completely on your own. And I remember that's how it all started. And then obviously when you get older, the big part of it was Fast and the Furious. And from the first one all the way till now, I love them. That's what got me into cars. The community. I go to a lot of car shows as well. It keeps me the drive to keep modding my car. Like this one here, this was a family car at first. We bought it for the family. I said I wouldn't do anything to it. And then one thing led to another. I put wheels on, I lowered it. Next thing I know, my wife says, we need a new family car. As soon as she says that, I order the air ride for the car. Now it's, I would say it's fully modded on air. Engine mods, I have lots of. Stage 2 Plus IE tune, IE intake, IE pulleys, and tranny tune as well. All done by AM Tuning in Mississauga. Air ride was done by Squeaky Clean Air. And I have a full lip kit from Maxon Design, all installed by One Concept Auto in Toronto. He's the one that usually takes care of all my maintenance and my mods here and there. I have custom interior that I actually ordered 5 rose print shirts off Amazon and had to cut them up and stitch them onto the seats and also some of the trim panels in the car. I couldn't find the fabric anywhere, but I saw this shirt and I really liked it. Okay, so if you guys know me, I've had lots of cars. I have a problem. The list is huge. I think we're at maybe 64, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of you are surprised I still have this one. I love it. It's a great family car, or was, but it still can be. The seats are still there. Oh yeah. But I don't think this one's going anywhere. This one's been the greatest to me. It's treated me well. I've treated it well. And yeah, like I take it to car shows. I go to a lot of car shows. I like it when there's new things on the car and all, I guess, the viewers can see all the mods. They're all different. I change it all the time. I go to shows and there's some cars I haven't changed in 5 years. I like to change it so, you know, people can look at it and be like, hey, there's something new. This guy keeps changing it and I want to keep seeing it. That's why I like doing it. And it's always nice to, you know, take a trophy home or 1 or 2 home. So before, when I used to go to a lot of car shows, I had a group of friends to go with. They all got older. They got families. I did as well. I got a family, but I just can't get away from this passion. Going to car shows, meeting people, meeting new friends, seeing all the new cars, new builds. So this car community, I've tried to get away. I can't. I leave and I come back because it's our passion. It's a part of me. I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't think it's gonna leave. I can't leave. It's it. We're in this for the long run.
My car is a 2016 Mercedes AMG GTS. I've had the car since May of this year. I bought it in April, but I realistically got time to start driving it at the beginning of May. Since I was a kid, I used to play a lot of the car games like Midnight Club, all the way back to like actually seeing some of the cars get released. One of my dream cars at the time was the SLS AMG and the SLR McLaren. I really like the aesthetic of having a car with like the long hood where you sit towards the back. It's a front mid-engine. The doors were a big sell on those cars. This car doesn't have those doors, but it does just as good of a job, I think. So some of the modifications I have done on this car is I have it lowered on H&Rs. I have it on my wheels, my E64 SS6 wheels. And one of the most prominent mods you see here is the facelift on it with the Darwin Pro hood. My realistic dream car is a Lamborghini Aventador, not right now, in a couple of years. My dream car, I would say, would be the new Koenigsegg, I think it's called the CC580. That one is beautiful, revolutionary in terms of technology too. My AMG GTS, I kind of got it this year in April, picked it up in May and I finally started driving it, but there's like a long backstory to the point that we got here. So I actually started a lot of my childhood playing with toy cars, like a lot of people, you know, Hot Wheels, all those kinds of things, and playing video games as well, all the way from like Need for Speed, Midnight Club. Eventually from there, I kind of got introduced to a lot of like the supercars around that time too. So cars like a lot of the popular Mercedes, like the SLS, the CLK GTR I saw in one of the games, the SLR McLaren. It was a very phenomenal like type of cars, and I really liked that whole aesthetic. I got into cars first in around 2017. I bought my first car. It was actually, believe it or not, from this, it was an Infiniti G37. And at the time, I really didn't anticipate going so far with cars. I thought it would just be kind of a hobby. And in 2018-19, I started spending a lot of money on modifying cars to the point where my wife was like, hey, you need to seriously stop. We're trying to buy a house. Don't spend so much money on this type of stuff. And at that point, I kind of decided, okay, if I can't buy the parts, what's the next best thing we can do? We can learn to make them. And I started my business at the time. It was, it actually started off as Element 6 Carbon, and then we shortened it down to E6 Carbon. And for like the better part of a year, I spent so much time learning how to like overlay small parts in like carbon and make small carbon fiber parts for cars. And that was super fun and all. And then eventually, with time passing, I was like, I want to kind of grow this business to the point where, you know, I was hanging out with a lot of like friends who had like supercars and stuff. I'm like, I want to get to this point too in life. And I decided that like, let's take it to like the next step. So I have a bit of a background in like AutoCAD because I took some of these types of like engineering courses when I was in university as well. And I decided, why don't we try like designing carbon fiber parts for cars? Why don't we try designing wheels for cars too? So I got my first set of wheels made after designing them, and I took a shot at overlaying them in carbon fiber, and there we had it. I suddenly had a set of wheels which like people were typically charging like 15 grand for. I made them at like a fraction of the cost, and then I was I never get tired of it. And then eventually we started doing wheels for all sorts of cars. We started them off just as carbon fiber, and then we expanded into doing like aluminum wheels as well for cars, like just your regular forged multi-piece wheels. So once we were done these type of like wheels and everything, we started expanding into like all sorts of markets. All of a sudden, we weren't just overlaying small parts for all sorts of cars out of a basement. All of a sudden, we were designing carbon fiber parts for, you know, tuner cars, for luxury cars. And at that point, we finally hit the ability to afford our first like nice car. We got the Lexus LC500, and that was like a huge, I guess you could say, like inflection point for my business, because all of a sudden when we started designing carbon fiber parts for this car, business just went vertical, because we were starting to access like the supercar market now too, because a lot of these owners for these cars, they were also owning a variety of other nice cars as well. And then we started working on the LC platform, it blew up, and then we started working on all sorts of other tuner ones as well, and then we went into the AMG eventually, which is this car. Now, this car, there's a bit of a story behind why I bought it. The reason I bought it was actually because, so as I said, I was a fan of these types of chassis long from when I was a kid. I liked classic Mercedes, I liked the modern ones too. And when we got into this, I kind of wanted to see what we could do for this type of market, because when I was spending time on like the Facebook groups, I was noticing that a lot of the owners actually were into modifying cars, but the options were kind of limited. So we started designing carbon fiber parts and wheels for this type of car as well. And I've noticed like people are willing to spend a lot of like money in this type of segment as well, because there's, you know, these cars are very tunable. It's a turbo 4.0, which means it can make a lot of power. It's very tunable. In terms of my car, what I have done on it is we have blow-off valves from Black Boost. We have my wheels on them, my E64 SS6. We have it lowered on H&Rs, and the suspension is decently comfortable. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it would get kind of rough when we lowered it. It actually was pretty good. We did downpipes as well, and then as you saw from the front, we did a bit of like a facelift to like the AMG GTR kind of look, but then we also overlaid it. I used a bit of my previous talent to overlay the bottom half in carbon fiber. Despite like all these types of modifications, you know, a lot of people who modify their cars to like an extreme amount, they don't really like driving them everywhere. I actually take this car everywhere because I enjoy driving it. In fact, I did my groceries in this car yesterday, right? It has a decent hatch for carrying all this type of stuff back there. So any excuse I get to drive this type of car, fishtail. Any excuse I get to drive this car, I'll take it. It's a phenomenal car overall. I would say for people looking to kind of expanding into like the supercar like world, this is a really good car to start off with. It's been fantastic getting into the AMG platform. I've met fantastic people through here. I've managed to develop fantastic new products. I do want to start like attending more, like getting back into the community. Since I got this car, I kind of had a bit of an exodus. I kind of want to go back into some of the events, start hosting some events, you know, making new friends with the car community. That's ultimately what I find it comes down to. A lot of the friends I've met from the beginning, 2017 till today, I still have them as friends, and I look forward to making many more.
Thank you for watching the episode of the Cruise TV Canada. If you would like to feature your car on future episodes, please reach out to us on our Instagram. Until next time, I'm your host, Stephanie Lastoria, and we will catch you cruising out on the open roads.